Hey, how you doing?
Mikel, it's Klinger in Washington, D.C., man. Thanks for
Good,
checking in.
Klinger.
So,
You just switched cameras. I saw you on one camera. Now you're on another camera. What happened there? Oh, I see. You were just moving around. Are you home right now?
yeah, because the internet, yeah, I'm at the house. The internet's a little quirky because we have a crap load of wind around here over the past
Oh,
24 hours. So, are you
yeah.
in Los Angeles right now?
Yeah. I'm in here in my basement studio at my house here in Silver Lake.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you very, very much for taking the time. I hope everything is healthy and safe and inspiring for you these days because this is a different time, and we've all talked about this a million times, you know.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a tough time. I keep trying to remind people, like those of us that are relatively healthy and young, that it sucks for us, but what we're doing is a sacrifice. Like it's not really for us. We're doing it, because we want to protect the most vulnerable and protect people who are older. And if you think about it from that perspective, it's a pretty amazing sacrifice going on by millions and millions of people right now trying to protect others. So I kind of feel like there's something, as much as it sucks, there's something kind of inspiring about it.
You and I are on the same page. My dad lives in Atlanta. He's 82. He's a social butterfly. And dude, he is having the hardest time staying the F at home. And it pisses my brothers and I off because I'm like, dude, stay home. Oh, I want to go to Costco or I want to go to Trader Joe's. Or I'm like, it really makes me mad because I finally told him, I was like, dude, if anything were to happen to you, I
Yeah.
would be pissed. I mean, sad, of course. So the sacrifice you're talking about is for real. Hey,
I
before
know.
we get
Yeah,
started,
absolutely.
hey,
We
are
have
you
to
cool with me just setting the mood? I've got this beautiful grapefruit candle. Can I light this candle?
by all means. It's kind of a grapefruit candle kind of set, I think I have. So, we're good.
So I want to talk about one of my favorite recordings from Airborne Toxicament, and I'm gonna throw it back old school, dude. I love the live double record. That live record is
Oh yeah, thanks, man.
the way those songs. Well, first of all, the way you play those, the way your band plays those songs live brings them. I'm a sucker for vibes and listening to records all the way, start to finish.
Yeah.
But when that record came out, I was like, holy crap. I think in fact, I had the actual CD. I was working
That's how
for
long
a radio station in Jacksonville, Florida. And dude, I would just listen to that all the time. So anyway, I love that record. It's awesome.
thank
So I
you.
just wanted to kind of get that out of there.
We put more into that record because it was one night at Disney Hall, and it was like we put more into that record than we did our entire fall tour. Like we played like 60 dates that tour, and we spent more time on that one show at Disney Hall because it was our homecoming, and it was in LA, and it was at Walt Disney Concert Hall, which is like a big deal. And we had a marching band, and we had guest musicians, and we had all this stuff going on. And so that was like a tremendous, and it was all for one show. It was all just for one night. So it was a tremendous amount of work. And at the time we were a little like, why are we doing this? But then I feel like because we got the movie out of it, it ended up being like.
I love hearing that, especially because it's almost like a time capsule. Like you go back and listen to it now, and you remember exactly all the hard work, especially hearing you're pulling the curtain back on us, dude, talking about all those tour dates, but then putting all the effort into that recording. And dude, we got it. We can listen to it anytime we want,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you can go back and visit that moment in time in your life for sure.
Your voice is not only dynamic. I'm not kissing your ass. I'm just a fan, a longtime fan. So when this interview came up, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to talk to him.
Yeah,
it's dynamic.
No, thank you very much.
It's very deep too. When you want it to go that way, it appears little effort,
Yeah. When I first started singing, I think I had a lot of trouble because I didn't realize I had a low voice, and I was trying to sing all these songs, and the songs were, most male singers are pretty high up there. They're pretty high tenors or, contratenors, and I realized I had a tone, and it took a long time. And once I sort of had that little thing where I was like, oh, I just got to lower the key, and then if I lower the key and sing it just how I feel comfortable singing, then I'll have kind of my own thing. And that's when I think that's when I really learned how to sing, was just suddenly going, oh, I should sing down here. I'm a little more comfortable down here.
You know, I love hearing that because now we all know and are very familiar with your voice and the way it fits into the fabric of the Airborne Toxic event. Wow, dude, that sounded so professional right there.
That was great. That was,
But
you
like,
would never think you were at home in the middle of a pandemic.
but to hear you saying, hey, you know, if I sang down here, you know, when you were kind of starting that,
Oh
I
yeah.
want to backtrack a little bit because you've got, I want to talk about your book and how in the hell you got the attention of Oprah magazine, right?
I don't know.
But let's go back. I mean, you were a writer. You were writing short stories and stuff. So it's not like the book that you're about to drop is coming out of the blue. Like, you've been doing that. And I love the fact that you have also done some writing for NPR way back in the day.
Yeah, I was one of those guys. I was on little known fact. I'm outing myself here. I was on All Things Considered on NPR, and I used to be one of those guys that came on. You know those guys that come on and they say stuff like, "What's the deal with Republicans and blue ties? Why is blue the color of Republicanism? I think that that's stupid." Like I was like their young edgy columnist. You know, I was like the guy that would come on. Like I was like Daniel Shore and Steven Skeep and then me, and then I'd come on and be like, "Ha! Went to a Built to Spill show. Fuck you guys." Art flex. That's right.
Yeah.
Wait till I give you the This American Life flex. It says this hourglass on This American Life. Today we have a story in 2 acts. CD 101, Washington-based station. Chili cook-off. Singer from the.
So that, yeah,
Are you
super
there?
interesting. We had a little bit of a internet connection blurb. I apologize.
Oh, it's the wind.
It is, dude. It is the wind. Will you? And I want to kind of go back and forth a little bit. I know your time is of the essence. It's no secret that you've got a microphone right in front of your face and you're holding a guitar. Are you going to use it?
Yeah. Did you? I thought I might play a couple songs for everybody.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Was that my intro? Are we starting now?
We can start. Maybe you play a song and then we can do a little bit more talky talk because I want to talk about what Airborne Toxic Event is going to sound like in 2020. And I want to talk about this book. Is it a memoir? Memoir?
Yeah. So it's a coming of age story about my childhood and to some extent my sort of how I came to terms with it as an adult, that kind of thing. And as a response to your question, I'm getting on Oprah's book list. I have no idea. There's I wrote this book alone in this room. Actually, I'm in the basement here. I spent about 3 years alone. I came down here every day and I wrote for about 12 hours. And there's, it was all, it was kind of like building the Watts Towers in your basement. It was like this very intricate, ornate thing that no one had ever seen except my wife. My wife had read a bunch of it. She was like my sounding board, but I'd never showed it to anyone and didn't have an editor. I didn't have a literary agent. You know, you need those sorts of things. And I didn't have a publisher, certainly. And I never thought in a million years it would be getting the attention it's getting. And so it's been it's cool. It's great. I'm excited. I just am surprised.
Do you write on a laptop?
Yeah, I got a whole setup here. You know, Kurt Vonnegut has this thing that every writer needs a typewriter. Every writer needs an attic. Yeah, he had an attic.
That's why I asked. That's exactly why I asked.
But yeah, man, it was definitely a very, very long process. It was way much more work, a lot more work than I thought it would be. And it's coming out next month, and the new record, the new Airborne record is the soundtrack to the book. So the whole concept is that it's a book with a soundtrack, and the record is the soundtrack. So it's kind of like a concept record. It's 12 songs, an hour. It's sort of like, I'd say it's kind of like our version of The Wall by Pink Floyd or something like that. Like it's a concept record about, you know, my life, because every scene every song in the record is from a scene in the book.
So can we expect to have a bundle package available on your website?
There is, in fact, a bundle package that we just made available yesterday. So absolutely.
I love. Well, it's no secret to anybody that I work with, and I'm going to get this in right now, especially right now when you guys are not touring. The easiest way to support bands that you love, man, buy a t-shirt, buy their music, buy something.
Yeah.
to support them. So I love the fact that we'll be able to purchase that as a bundle. And I love the idea that they go hand in hand, dude.
Yeah. It's all supposed to be one work of art, one 5-year long, utterly nerdy, very emotional work of art.
I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. Will you play a song?
Yeah, sure. So this song
What are you
is,
gonna play?
I'm going to play our new single called Come On Out. It's a very different version because it's, it's a big sort of post-punk rock song that gets really loud and has all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm going to play a different version of it. It's from a scene in the book. I was 11 years old and I ran away from home one night. My stepdad was kind of a prick, and I can kind of get into all the dynamics behind that. But I was 11 years old and I was in Salem, Oregon, and I got on my bike and I went and I rode it to the West Salem Bridge. And I'm just standing out there smoking cigarettes like the little vagrant that I was at like midnight. So this is the song about running away from home at 11 years old. Here we go. And we got fancy with the microphones here.
Oh, dude. I want to say that well, there was just a comment that says, I love the inflections in your voice and the amazing control you have. Gives me goosebumps. That is, she's not the only person. That's just intense. It's left me with no words because I love a live performance and I love the way sometimes you veer away from what we may hear on the record in a live performance, dude.
Yeah, a good song is a story. Hey, look, there goes I lost all my vibe. Good song is a story. A good song should work with, just a person and maybe a piano or a guitar, I feel like. And if you can follow it, then you've written yourself a good song, So, yeah.
Do you write that way? Do you write with just an acoustic guitar and maybe a piano?
Yeah, most of the time. Sometimes I'll do some riffology first. That's what we call, guitar licks. We call them riffology. So you want to do all that kind of stuff sometimes. But for the most part, it's just I'll have a piano or an acoustic guitar and just start singing and try to tell a story. And you hear different things in your head, and you sort of score it as you go. It's kind of like scoring a movie. So like, the sounds that you hear usually are there to kind of either bring to life the thing you're singing about, or maybe offer a counterpoint to the thing you're singing about, so that the end effect is something that's kind of it gives the listener a real good idea of sense of place and time and what you're feeling at that moment. That's how I think about it anyway.
What you just said in the past 30 seconds was like, you're hardcore pulling the curtain back, dude. Like, it's fascinating as a fan of music, and I know everybody else feels the same way. So like when we hear that song and you just said that about how you're putting it together in your mind, that's freaking fascinating, man.
Well, I learned that from David Bowie. So I met David Bowie when back in the day I used to interview rock stars. I was a really crap music journalist. I wasn't good at it at all. But the reason I did it was I would always want to ask them their secrets. I would always try to get them to tell me their secrets. So I had an hour with David Bowie in his studio in Soho once. And I asked him, we did all the things about the influences, because you got to ask about what's the influence on the new record? Who played guitar? That's a nice sounding guitar. You got to do all that kind of shit. And once you're done with that, when I get out of the way, then I would just pin him down and be like, how do you write songs, man? How do you want to? Because I was just trying to write songs, and that's all I wanted out of life was to be a songwriter. So I would always ask everyone. And I asked everyone. I asked, Stephen Malcolmus and Jack White and Tom Waits and Lou Reed and Robert Smith and, of course, David Bowie, who was like an idol.
The Cure is my favorite band in the whole wide world, by the way.
Hey, there's a lot of Cure in my book. There's a lot of like being like 11 years old in this backwater white trash place where I grew up, and finding Robert Smith and just being like, oh my God, there's this whole world out there beyond these like, the shitty, life that I'm leading here. And it's filled with these wonderful, interesting people.
I love that you just said that. I love that you just said that.
It was like an introduction to the world, of ideas and of people and of media and art, and in a way that like nobody around me really was talking about. It was just we grew up, you know, my brother and I grew up in some, I mean, challenging circumstances, and you know, it was just like, oh my God, there's other people in the world that think these, that first of all have really weird thoughts like I do, and secondly, who uh, do these beautiful things, you know, do these
Yes, I do.
beautiful things. So anyway, so
Um,
David Bowie told me that that was what it is. It's all about, you know, creating an armature of music, and on top of which the lyrics are either going to express or be a counterpoint to the thing that you want to feel. And what you're always going for is trying to make the listener feel exactly as you feel at that moment.
now that you just gave us a laundry list of incredible musicians that you've vibed with, talked with, gotten secrets from, any special collaborations with this new record?
Oh, not as such. This record is, I mean, it's just the band and I. Yeah, I will say this: we had a different attitude about it. We kind of sat down after our last record. My last record I kind of did alone, and it was all keyboards and stuff. And it was actually before it was done, because they weren't too pleased about the fact that I did a record all in keyboards and made all this dance music. And we called Songs of God and Whiskey, partially because as a band we just wanted to play together, and so we put out a double record, and we made one that was just a bunch of old folk songs, and we put it out. And that one I think ends up being much more popular with our fans than our last major record. And so this time we were just like, we wanted to do something we love. You know, we all know a lot about rock and roll music, and we've been doing this for a long time. And we grew up on the Pixies, we grew up on Radiohead, we grew up on The Cure, we grew up on, you know, David Bowie and Bruce Springsteen, and like, this is the music that we love. So let's go make a record that we love, and just fuck the market, fuck trying to write fucking singles or fucking anything that you think's gonna sell or the kids might like, because they're into this week and that and the next week, and you gotta sound like this. And you know, you work in radio, there's all kinds of shit like that they tell you, because there's always that one guy in the music industry that's like, let me tell you something, kid, you gotta write a hit. All right, let me tell you something. All right, Wang Chung, 1982, everybody, Wang Chung tonight. That was a fucking hit, kid. Write me a Wang Chung tonight. Can you do that? And you're just sitting there like, fuck you, dude. I don't know anyone like you. I've always used to feel that way on major labels. Like in the major label system, you'd meet someone, you're like, I don't know a single person in the world like you at all. You're weird. You're a fucking weird person. I don't understand your habits. I don't understand your dress code. I don't understand this weird thing where like you're my best friend, but then you're also gonna fucking stab me in the back if my single doesn't have huge ad weeks and shit. Like, fuck you, dude. And so like we just kind of decided, fuck all that. And we just wanted to make a record that we just were proud of and that we love. And we spent 2 years on it, and that's what we did. And so that's what Hollywood Park is.
That's a excuse me, that's a long period to make a record, isn't it?
Well, because I also wrote a book, so it's 3 years to write the book, 2 years to make the record. And they were kind of simultaneous in some ways. They overlapped a little in some ways they didn't. So it kind of depends. But the band was great. I mean, we just kind of had a brotherhood about it, where we were like, this is what we're going to do. This is who we are, and fuck everybody. And we didn't have a label, you know, we didn't have anything. We just like, we went and made it ourselves. And then there, you know, we played it for a lot of people in the music industry, and then a bunch of labels were interested because I guess they liked the record. But this is the first time since our first record that we just made it without we had no backing, no nothing. We just made it, and that's how we wanted to do it. That's how we just wanted to get back to our roots, which was just like, you know, our roots as being a rock and roll band, like a live rock and roll band, where you turn it on and it sounds like these guys just got off the bus and they've been on tour for 9 months, and you're sitting in the third row back going, holy shit, that's a good rock band. And that's what we were trying to do.
Get to the 930 Club. Get to the Anthem here in DC. Hell, get to Merriweather when it's outdoors and warm so I can drink a beer and vibe exactly like you just said, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what we wanted to do. We've been rehearsing for that. We were so bummed about all this stuff that happened, and we had to cancel our opening shows. We had shows at the El Rey, and we're supposed to be at the Bowery this week. We were supposed to be playing like right now. And we were so excited because we haven't played in years. And so we were just like, let's go do this. And that's how it feels. This whole record feels that way. And so when we got to play them live, we're like, fuck yeah. And so we just can't wait to do that. Oh, we got a visitor here. We got a little cute cat.
Dude, can I it's our dog, My Brown.
Oh, it's a dog. Oh shit. That was a cat. Oh, he's an old boy.
She's an older lady, and she's brown. Her name's Maya, so we call her Maya Brown.
Hi, Maya. How are
Do you
you,
have
sweetie?
Do you have animals?
We do. We have a huge 120-pound mutt named Bowie.
I love dogs, and we love cats too, man.
Yeah. Oh, Maya. Look at that sweet face. That's
we
what
have
my
another
mom would
guest.
call a punum.
Real quick, we got another little man coming down the way.
Oh, this one's. Oh, hi. He's very excited.
Yeah, his name is Hurley. They're just rescues. We love them.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we love dogs here too as well. That's good. You get to be home, bro. This is journalism. This is radio. This is media. Got the dogs. Got your found wood sculpture in the background. We're talking about David Bowie and playing music. This is awesome.
Can we do this the rest of the weekend?
Let's just do it, bro. Like I don't know. I'm gonna start drinking in a couple hours. Let's go. Yeah.
Do you think, before you play another song, do you think you made a better record because you didn't have the pressure and you wanted to make it yourself? Because it doesn't surprise me that you said, hey, once the record was done and record people heard it, they gravitated towards it. That doesn't surprise me at all. But
yeah, I think it was a much better record because in some ways there's more pressure because we're like, shit, man, we don't have the last 4 records we made with a big old contract that was like, here you go. And this one we were just like, we don't know what's going to happen. And it also made the whole thing like, well, what's the point? What's the point of doing any of this unless we're just going to do something we love? So it kind of removed the market from the equation. So we didn't have to think about any of that shit. And we were just like the opening track, 6.5 minutes long. There's, it's just like,
I cannot wait to hear that.
And there's parts where like stuff kind of weaves in and out and you hear these like angelic choirs come in and then they just kind of disappear and then I kind of say then it kind of falls away into noise. Like it's a story though. The thing's a story. It roughly follows the narrative arc of the book. And we're just really proud of it. We're just we've never been so proud of something that we've done. And we've never worked so hard. We never risked so much. Because again, we didn't try to demo a few songs, go get a label. We took a risk. We invested a lot of time and put our asses on the line to just try and make this thing that we love. And also it took 5 years and wrote a book. It's a whole thing.
When we extend ourselves sometimes and we overextend ourselves and we're scared shitless doing it and there's a big fat question mark whether it's going to work or not, we're always at our best. No matter if you're making music, you are running a small business, you're trying to find how you define your life. I believe that. So I love and that just totally resonates with me. So
yeah, well, I'm scared shitless. So
it's going to work.
The book was a tremendously big undertaking. It took me forever, and there's every sort of terrifying and joyful thing in my life is in this book. And part of me, I'm like, oh, I can't wait till it comes out because I worked so hard on it. And then part of me is like, oh my god, people are gonna read this. It's a lot.
We'll read it. We'll read it. We'll read it, and we'll listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna tell another story by way of a song or what?
Yeah, am I doing one more?
Oh, will you do one?
Want me to do one more, 2 more, 3 more? What do you want?
Well, I have all weekend. I don't have anywhere to go.
Oh,
we got
right as you just broke up right as I did a thing. You know what? If we're oh, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I got all weekend. You do as many songs as you want.
All right. Let's play this one. This is an old song called Elizabeth. Oh, are you there? Did I lose you?
We may all be on board with the fact that this could be one of the best songs that you guys made.
Oh, thanks. I like that song.
It's cool to see the comments from people as they're hearing your voice and this song, which is so very familiar for a lot of us. What does it feel like after all these years to play that when you're singing it? Is there, I don't know, what emotions? I know this is a cheesy ass radio DJ question, but what emotions are coming up when you're playing that now, even in your basement?
Oh, a lot of times you're just trying not to forget the words. It's fun. It's fun. It's like it went out and had its own life in the world. You wrote this thing, and when I wrote it, it captured a moment And then it went out and became part of other people's lives, and so it wasn't mine anymore. So then when I get to sing it again, I go, oh yeah, I wrote that, and you feel kind of proud of it at the same time as, especially the ones, there's like, probably 10 songs in our catalog that are all in, different records and whatever, and that are like the ones I'm particularly proud of, and that's one of them for sure. And when you get to go to it's weird. We were away for 5 years, and I was alone in this room a lot. Kind of lost my mind writing in the middle of this. My poor wife. I wrote 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. I literally lost touch with reality. I went a little crazy. I wrote 500,000 words, edited down to 140,000 words just to get the book down. I wrote a ton of songs, and I felt like I kind of went a little crazy. And then I was just out of the public sphere in any way. I wasn't performing. I wasn't, I was just here alone in my house. And so, it's when we came back, I wasn't sure if there were going to be any fans. And then when we put our tour on sale, we had like easily the biggest tour we've ever had. And I remember thinking like, oh, I guess people like these songs. I guess because if like the songs don't hold up, then you don't do that, And so it was the first moment that I was like, okay. And it's not because of like the singles per se, maybe a couple singles I think were big for us, but most of our fans, they're big. They love like track 8 on the 3rd record, or you know what I mean? Like it's all like these weird songs that are stories about different things, and not necessarily the ones that we wrote that we thought were gonna be like, oh, this is, it's like fucking Bride and Groom and Poor Isaac and Change and Change and Change and Graveyard Near the House and Innocence and Wishing Well, and all these songs that we wrote that I wrote that were just like, I was just trying to like capture something. I was going through something, and I'm trying to like work it out in my head. And it's like some people ask, is it a catharsis? And I don't know if it's a catharsis or if it's therapeutic. Like I don't give a shit about that. Like it's more like maybe so you can look at it, you get lost in it, and then you can really truly feel it, and then you can kind of be in it because you're feeling it so strongly, and it helps you to understand the shape of the thing, and therefore to kind of look at it. And as an artist, that's what you love, or else why else would you be an artist? Because you enjoy that process of writing and singing songs. I've been writing songs since I was 15 years old, and it's just something I've always done.
A lot of people love Graveyard, myself included. God, there's been so many people. There's a shitload of people on here right now. So
yeah,
I think
I got this comment on Instagram from Phineas Eilish, and Phineas was like, dude, I can't hear Graveyard Near the House. Anybody who says they can listen to that song without shedding a tear is lying.
I love that.
That's funny.
You know what, that plays into, the question that you just, brought up after you kind of were on the DL for years. Is anybody going to be there? Hell yeah, we're there, dude. We're here now. And like, there's a lot of anticipation for this record. I listened to, for a radio station like DC 101 or any of the other stations I'm on, did I just big time you by saying that?
That was great. No, it was good. It was like, for bands like Airborne, Man, or all the other different bands that I'm in, let me tell you something.
So the single, when, radio singles, I love them. I know we play singles. We don't necessarily go on deeper cuts. And with your record, we have the new Music Mart with Roach on Sunday nights. We have Mike Jones does New It Too. So your new music is getting spins here in DC. The other thing I like about radio singles is perfect example. If you've been away for a minute, like the Airborne Toxic event, and then you hear the new single on a commercial radio station, like DC 101, for a lot of fans, that's the first experience they have of the new record.
Oh, for sure.
So I like it. The other aspect of a single after we have been on it for a while and it gets played and played and played, is it is also inviting new fans that have never heard Airborne Toxic Event or any band,
Yeah.
So I like commercial radio stations. I mean, this is my business. This is the only thing I've ever done, but I like the facets of hearing a song on the radio, not knowing who the hell it is, and having the DJ say, hey, that's a new song from Airborne Toxic Event. The record's out on May 22nd. And by the way, there's a book to match. Like, I love that. I'm still passionate about it. But
Yeah.
I also like the deeper songs, and when the bands that I love to go see, I love the deeper songs too, man.
Well, the best is when they're one and the same. Like songs like Midnight, All I Ever Wanted, were singles for us, and they were just stories. They were just stories that we gave a backbeat to. Like I wrote sometime around midnight on my guitar on the edge of my bed after running into my ex-girlfriend in a bar, just hung over and walking around my apartment for 3 days because I was so bummed out about it all. All I Ever Wanted, I wrote in a hotel room in Germany. We were on tour for forever, and I was just needed a couple days, and I got this hotel room. I went to the store and got a bunch of food and some beer, and I locked
Awesome.
myself in this room with a guitar for a couple of days. And I feel like that Come On Out as well is it's like a songwriter's song. All those are songwriter songs. And it's best when they're one and the same. And don't get me wrong, I like playing Changing. I like playing Hell and Back. Like those are fun songs, and they're great live because you can get big sing-alongs and you just feel like the Rolling Stones. It's fun to feel like the Rolling Stones and be like, I am a gentleman, did not ask. And you're just like, it's great. Yep. But what's really great, I think, is when you've got songs that are singles that are also themselves, songs that you could play on a piano or play with a guitar, and they still work, and then it's like a piece of writing.
When I hear a song like Midnight, I know exactly where I was the very first time I heard that, and like I love the intro, I love the build up, and then as soon as you start singing, it's just like, it's almost like you're teasing. This sounds cheesy as hell, dude. Go with me on this one.
I got you.
With that song in particular, the ramp up to your vocals is almost just like you're dangling a carrot, and then your deep voice kicks in. It's just a little crackly, and like, I love it, and I think a lot of people love it for that reason. And that's what I love. I mentioned Timestamp of Music, that double record of yours back in the day. That's what I love about music. And like, we're going to look forward to the new record. And then in years to come, it's going to be a timestamp of where the F we were in 2020, man. Like,
yeah, which is,
does that make sense, dude?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what you do. Like music, I think I was on Twitter, and I do these music threads sometimes, and I mostly talk about what an asshole Trump is on Twitter, but sometimes I do these music threads, and the music threads, I asked a question once, and it was just real simple. I just said, what's the most nostalgic song of all time? And it was literally, that was it. It was like one sentence. I got 12,000 replies, and it was like, and this thing, and everyone was going, into all this. By the way, the answer is Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. But we ended up making like a Spotify mix. People were weighing in. People were arguing about the stuff. And it's because music has this way, particularly of capturing, I think, in a way that's really unique among art. And, there's something very human about music that it goes to storytelling. So maybe something about like the millions of years we spent just like sitting around campfires, talking to each other, telling stories, but something about like the music itself can really bring a memory to life. And so nostalgia, the sense of loss, the feeling of a lost time, you ever just be sitting around and you hear an old song you haven't heard in a while, and suddenly this whole world hits you all at once, where suddenly you remember like, oh my God, I was 15 and I was sitting there, at my mom's house on the porch, and I was dating this girl, and oh my God, that's when Billy was still alive, and we were gonna go out to like fireworks then, and it's just suddenly you remember like shit you hadn't thought about, and you're in that moment. You're suddenly just back in that moment in your life, and I feel like music is particularly good at doing that.
I do know exactly what you're saying, and to that point, as soon as you brought up David Bowie, I was in 7th grade. Now, that was all for me. That was like Let's Dance, China Girl.
Yeah.
So when you brought that up and you were talking about, I spent an hour with David Bowie, that's what came up in my mind. I didn't even say anything about it, but your point now is like, that is what we all freaking love about music. Like I was in, I don't know. I was born in Portland, Oregon, and we lived in Bellevue, Washington for a minute.
Really? Okay, nearby.
Yeah.
Salem, Willamette River. What's up?
Oh my God, dude. My brother went to Oregon State. My other brother went to Washington State.
Oh, right on. Okay, yeah. Fellow Oregonian.
Yeah.
And lots of time in the rain.
I love the rain. I love gray, rainy days. It's about
Oh,
55 degrees.
God, I hate them. I'm so glad I'm in LA. I just get
But
so
you do
tired of
have, and I'm going to get ripped so hard from the people I work with at DC 101, but you are in the land of my favorite pizza joint, dude. Round Table Pizza.
around. Oh my God. We used to go there and get the bottomless pop, and we'd sit there and we'd play cards at the table. And I think they even had a bottomless pizza too. I think it was like $15 or something. And and my friends and I would abuse that when we were just little vagrant, little preteen shitheads. And we'd just go there. We'd go outside, smoke cigarettes, and come back and drink more. Go outside and bring a deck of cards, and we'd be there for like 5 hours. And they'd be like, "You guys need to fucking leave."
I freaking love Round Table Pizza. And I was out in Portland last summer for a concert. And dude, I swear to God, I went to Round Table Pizza once with my Uncle Jim. And then I got a large pizza to go, brought that shit home on the airplane, dude, and stuck it in the freezer.
Nice, nice.
They don't have it on the East Coast. I love Round Table. Maybe you ought to treat your wife and family to some Round Table tonight.
Some Round Table. Okay, I got it. Yeah, we used to. We were pretty poor when we were in Oregon, so a lot. When I was really young, we spent a lot of time at Fred Meyer or the Lucky Food for, not the Lucky's now, but I think there's something called Lucky Food for Less or something like that, and that's where it was like bulk Costco type shopping before.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, and that's where we
Yeah,
got
it does. Fred
stuff.
Meyer.
Fred Meyer. You remember Fred Meyer? There was a bike. There was this, I remember being 10 years old, and there was this bike, and it was a Huffy Thunder Pro yellow and blue bike with blue mags and its yellow frame. And I was just like, and it was like Fred Meyer. We went there shopping, and you look up on the thing, and it was just like, it was like bathed in light. It was like, everything. And my little food stamp, government assistant, white trash ass was like, like, and like we could never afford anything like that. Like we didn't have
man.
Later on. And I just remember being like so obsessed with this bike. And I spent 6 months collecting cans, collecting bottles, mowing lawns, digging through trash cans. I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, I'm going to get that bike. So 6 months later, I walked into Fred Meyer's and I bought my blue and yellow Huffy Thunder Pro. And I rode that shit for years.
Dude, I love the fact that you ended up getting it.
Oh, bro, I was determined. I was gonna make it happen. That's the kind of kid I was, where I was just like, I saw something I wanted to do, and I didn't care what I had to do. And like kids thought I was homeless, like because I had this other little mini moto that I was too big for, but I would just line it with like plastic bags filled with old cans and bottles that I would collect around the neighborhood at like the Plaid Pantry or the Circle K or whatever.
Oh my God, the Plaid Pantry, dude. What a flashback. I love hearing that story because we all have our own version of that. Like,
yeah, the Plaid Pantry, I used to shoplift Winston cigarettes because there was a Winston display, and Winston for some reason had their own display at Plaid Pantry, and I was just a little vagrant little 10, 11-year-old. I started smoking when I was 8, and like I just I didn't care. And so like we like that, and that was, my friend would distract the old man at the Plaid Pantry, and I cruise over to the Winston display, and I hated Winstons. They were nasty. They tasted like dirt mixed with cigarettes. But like it was so much easier to shoplift.
dude,
So
you're just like one of us, man.
Yeah, white trash.
Who the hell taught you how to smoke cigarettes at 8 years old? That's pretty.
My brother. My brother, yeah, my brother was like always ahead of the curve on everything. He got me stoned for my 12th birthday. I got
happy birthday, dude. I love that.
Yeah, no, bro. It's like first time I ever got stoned was with my brother on my 12th birthday. He was like, "Happy birthday, little bro!" And he handed me a little one hitter.
The bat, dude.
We were bad kids. We were the kids that you weren't allowed to hang out with. Like we were little skater shitheads, when we mark up on walls and destroy property and stuff. All this is in the book. And like there were other kids weren't allowed to hang out with us. We were the kid that was the bad influence that the other kids weren't allowed to hang out with. And my brother was always way, way worse than me. I was still the good one, even though I kind of did all this stuff.
I say it sort of worked out for you, dude. All that kind of worked for you to be who you are now.
Well, it helped that I saw my brother go through what he went through. My brother ended up eventually becoming an addict, and then he went really far down that road, and it sort of taught me, okay, I don't want to do that. And then he got clean too, again, all this is in the book, and like I think it helped a lot actually. In some ways, to be like, fuck that. You know, it's one thing to like want to be cool, want to be a little smart ass that gets high before school or whatever. It's another thing if you see like your 15-year-old brother like strung out on coke being chased by the cops, and you're like, that is not a life that I want. And so he actually like it actually taught me a lot. He sort of made the mistakes for both of us that helped a lot.
I like hearing that, and I appreciate you would share something as personal as that.
Oh, you can see how personal this book gets, bro. There's
I'm in.
That's the thing that I'm terrified about, because half the time I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the book to come out, and then other half of the time I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of personal information in this book.
Yeah, it's almost in just a couple of weeks, dude. It's going to be pretty damn public, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'm nervous. So,
what are you gonna play another song? What are you doing?
Let me play.
You still have that guitar right there. The mic is still on.
Yeah, let's play one more, and then we'll move on.
What are you gonna play?
I'll play Midnight for you guys.
Oh, dude, come on already. I gotta go pour a whiskey.
You think I wait away?
Yeah, do it.
All right, here we go.
Dude, oh my God, that's just like I hope you can make. Well, you don't want to go back and watch this, but like the comments are so on point. Dude,
get cut off.
Is there an hour? Do you have a time limit with Instagram Live? I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's what happened. Yeah, because it's like there's only an hour.
I know that we're gonna wrap this, but I felt so empty and broken that our conversation was just. So let's get people to buy some record, man. A record, May 22nd. Is the book out on in the first week of May?
May 26th. So same week.
So record, then book.
Correct. Friday is the record. Tuesday, because books come out on Tuesday, records come out on Friday. So it's the Friday. Then the following Tuesday is the book.
Got it. So that's going to be cool. A little business here. Are you going to be rebooking tour dates and stuff like that once you guys kind of know that the green light has been given?
Yeah, if that happens. We actually haven't canceled our tour yet. We're still kind of figuring out if we might go. We're not sure. Because a lot of it's in July, and then so we're sort of like, well, maybe we're kind of like waiting to see what the powers that be sort of determine.
It's going to be intense, dude. Because I bet those shows will be packed. Because we got to get our live music on, and we got to get the F out of the house. You know.
I know. Don't you miss shows? I miss shows.
I love going to shows. I love drinking 400 beers and seeing some music.
Yeah.
Will you get to Europe?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's some people from Italy and Germany on this, and they were like, hey, are you coming to see us? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
you know?
working on all that. We just haven't announced any of it yet because of all the stuff.
Super personal question from David. Are you getting a new violinist?
Yeah, we have a touring member who's going to be touring with us that she's great. And, we were sad that Anna left. I spent like 2 years trying to get Anna to stay in the band. But, Anna's one of these people, she has, you can't contain her. And so I'm really proud of what she's doing and really, happy for that. But I was bummed that she left, obviously, because
Sure.
So we have a new player that we've been playing with. And she's amazing, by the way. She shreds and she's great. Who is also a big Anna fan and feels like she has big shoes to fill.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a different thing, and she's not going to try to be that. And for now, she's kind of a touring member. She didn't make the record. Neither did Anna. There's just the 4 guys that made the record. So, we're gonna take her out, but we're gonna be a 5-piece on the road for sure.
Got it. Okay. Dude, I know you're so exhausted talking to some dipshit at DC.
I enjoyed this. This was great. I really appreciate that. There's a good talk. It was fun to play music, man. Dude, we're musicians, and it sucks when we don't get to play. So this was great. I enjoyed it.
Well, I cannot wait to buy you gentlemen either a dinner, heavy appetizers, a meat platter, a sandwich, or some beers when you get to.
I'd like that. Let's do that when I'm out there.
Consider it done. That is a promise, and you're so generous with your time, and your music. So we don't take that for granted, and we very much appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, and stay safe. And I hope everyone in your family and everyone in your circle is going to pull through this okay and healthy. Okay.
Likewise, my man. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you and see you very, very soon.
All right. Be well.
Take
care.